was on and it was too loud and I couldn't hear. That was sabotage.
I love the ask the question and then zing.
That was
Thank you,
sabotage.
Betty. What?
That was sabotage. Sabotage. Hey, by the way, speaking of sabotage, Royal Rumble, end of the month, one of my favorite events of the year. DiVitto, favorite Royal Rumble moment?
Oh, no, not Chuck.
Not Chuck. Not Chuck.
What?
I was at the Royal Rumble where Bret Hart and Luger went over the ropes at the same time. I attended that one in
Get out
Providence.
of town.
Yeah.
We were watching the Royal Rumble one time, Pete, and we each had like 3 or 4 numbers or something like
I
that.
think we were in high school and we all had like lottery numbers. So I had
Yeah,
I
9.
remember this one.
It's like
Yeah.
$5 a guy. You got we
Yeah.
got the numbers.
And
we got where the guy came out.
my
Best
guy
game
that
of
came
the
out, I was like, "Ooh, who's coming out?" And all of a sudden, Chuck popped up. I'm like, I just went, "Oh no, not Chuck." I think he was in for about 10 seconds.
I think he was.
Oh my God.
It was a waste of a lottery pick.
Happy New Year, folks. Happy New Year, pod. The whole crew is here. A strange scenario to discuss this week, but nonetheless, it is the end or almost end of our Super Bowl week. It is almost the end of another wonderful season. And so here we are back together again. Pete, how was your New Year's, bud?
It was good. My kids stayed up till midnight. Have your kids ever done that yet?
My kids tonight, I think, are going to stay up till midnight. I don't know what they're doing above me, but they're singing some sort of song. So no, not yet. Not this year.
It was awful. We did a balloon drop, then they wouldn't go to sleep. That was
Was it
terrible.
just the 4 of you?
Just the 4 of us locked down.
I was in bed at 10 o'clock.
Nice.
Yeah.
I wish.
Wow.
I wish.
Even with that football game on, which was awesome. I felt
Did you see how many people missed the fireworks of like the ball drop because of the game was like the
No.
most? So I didn't watch the games, but apparently the most important part of the college football game lined up with the ball dropping, and so
Exact timing. The Ohio State field goal at the end of the game was 2 seconds from when he missed it to when the ball dropped.
oh my God, that's fantastic. That's fantastic.
That guy's field goal wasn't even close, by the way.
I didn't watch any of it. Shout out to TCU making the national championship. My old client. Like,
That's
they
right.
got rid of me, and now they made a national championship. And that's how easy. That's how easy it is.
See what happens when you get rid of Jalen Rager?
TC DeLuca, baby.
Nothing wrong with Jalen Rager, man. He had like 10 consecutive weeks of touchdowns when I worked there.
No, he was awesome in college.
Yeah.
Professional though.
Pete,
He
do we
did
want to
not
make
do
New Year's resolutions for our team for next season, or should we wait till the rest of the year?
Yeah, maybe we need some off-season content. I don't know.
All right.
I'm not a big fan of resolutions.
All right. Well, episode 77 is here, gang. Do we have a number 77? Feels like a
Oh
good
God, the
number.
Ray Bork episode.
Ross Grimaldi.
Oh, full circle.
Lord.
Pete, that's full circle, the Ross Grimaldi episode.
Ross Grimaldi.
Pedialyte 101.
He used to drink a
So
lot of.
Pete-
He used to drink tonic too.
Oh, every day.
Who?
Ross, he's big
Ross.
on anti-cramping things, and he always cramped. I don't get it.
It's unbelievable. He was down like 5 Pedialytes before the game. The end of the first quarter, he's lying there cramping.
My center fielder has cramping issues. You know what he does during the game? He chugs mustard.
Mm.
It helps.
Christian?
Are you
Is
being
his name
serious right
Christian Dadarian?
No.
now? Wait, do you call him
Christian
Mustard
can't
Boy?
play. But no, I don't. I wouldn't do that to him.
I didn't
He's
say
not
this
playing.
kid could play.
He's really, really good.
Mustard.
He's really, really good.
Hey, what's his name? I'm going to call Christian this guy's name next season.
Yeah.
No, not gonna do
Great
that.
play,
Not gonna do that
Christian.
Not gonna do that poor kid. I remember Christian Darren. Christian Darren as a baseball player had the worst arm I've ever seen. He used to bounce balls from second base. It was so bad.
Mike's gonna come down to see one of your games. Go CGD, great game, man.
No. I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to call Christian this guy's name. Hold on.
Christian was
What's his name, Case?
good offensive player.
He said he won't tell me. I'll have to
I
guess.
don't know. That's got to be an off-the-air thing.
It's got to be Blake Carroll.
It's our
Let's just
best,
go-
it's our best player. Best player.
Let's go Christian Blake.
Oh no,
All right,
not
well-
Chuck.
Tough season for Blake, but we're here. So, Pete, were you watching the games last night?
Yeah, so I figure we should probably address the elephant in the room right off the bat, the DeMar Hamlin stuff. I'm going to try to do this as normal as possible, jokes aside. But I think we should probably, as a podcast, recognize the critical condition that this guy's in. We don't have many listeners, but I do want to acknowledge the seriousness of what happened. None of us are really health or medical experts. Sadly, the only thing I'm an expert in is returning things to the Whole Foods for my wife. But I'm
Debatable.
sure that you guys join me and like millions of people that are praying for this guy. There are a lot of questions that are going on with league championships and that we're here to discuss. And none of that is meant to take away from the best wishes we continue to send to this guy, the Bills, and the entire Bills Mafia, which I feel like I would be a huge fan of. But I wanted to get that out of the way quick because you watch all these things and it's like, oh man, this is so serious. But like, I get it's very, very serious. We have a league to discuss. And with all due respect, we are sending our best wishes, but I want to talk about that stuff too. So that's where I am. What do you guys have anything to say?
Watching it live last night, it was
Very
it
scary.
was very like hair on the back of your neck standing straight. It was scary, man. Like that was not
His name got the guy in the Steelers. What was his name? He got like
Ryan
paralyzed.
Shazier.
Oh, it reminded me of that. It was
So-
scary like that.
There was a thing I saw today at Cincinnati Stadium. 4 of the worst injuries over the past 10 years have happened at that stadium.
Wow.
Yeah. Remember when Antonio Brown got
Yep.
knocked out, Shazier last night, and then Tua's concussion earlier this year.
Wow, that is insane.
Yeah.
That is a cursed narrative.
But yeah, I'm with you. Like even being in the championship this week, it was kind of like whatever. Like it sucks. And I'll be honest with you, like I don't know how if you're the Bills, do you just get back on the horse and figure it out for this Sunday against the Patriots at home?
They're playing
what I
the
mean?
Pats at home. Wow.
Yeah.
That's bad timing for the Patriots.
Yeah, but I mean, like the players last night, essentially, and good for them. We're not going to play, and the way the coaches reacted, they were not going to play because, like you said, Pete, it all's on him. But I don't think this isn't close to being over. So I don't know how they're going to react.
Yeah. All right. I don't want to get too far into this. So what do you guys want to? You guys want to put a bow on this? What do you guys want to say? Anything else?
I think you guys said it well. I got nothing else.
All right. With of course the most respect, prayers, and good wishes sent to them, we want to talk about our league championship and the way this impacts us going forward. So there is one thing that was decided this weekend that was a little weird. It was the draft order. I don't want to get too far.
Well, two things. I think I broke a record for highest score in a consolation.
That is true. I know we could talk about that.
Thanks, guys.
Add that in.
Thanks, guys. Just
Congratulations,
making sure.
Mike.
Just making sure we're all tracking here.
Did you pick yourself to boob?
No, of course not. I should have. I knew I should have. It was a bad call.
Oh, that's incredible. No, we could talk about that. I actually didn't pay any attention to the game. When I saw it was 204, I couldn't help but laugh at that. But
Mike was my Super Bowl pick. All you had to do was win last week. Trace McSorley screwed you.
Can't stand. I'm gonna buy a Chase McSorley jersey, by the way.
all right, so it looks like we might have the first 4 picks of the lottery if it goes the way it's like slated to go. Of course, we're gonna have a lottery and everything, but if it goes the way it's supposed to go down, it might go Larkin to Darian, which is going to be a terrible start to a draft. Casey, Brian Casey, you have yet to speak. You have the second most trades behind me. I want to know your opinion. What is more likely to happen? Are both teams going to trade the picks? Are both teams going to make the picks? What do you think is going to happen? Let's start with Lloyd. He's got 2.
So what I think is going to happen is that they will make their picks. What I think they should do won't happen. So I think Lloyd has had 2 years had his big year of accumulating picks. I think it's now time with what his roster is to package some picks and maybe younger players to make a big impact unless he's just comfortable playing in the bottom of the league every year and just betting me for side bets. So I think Lloyd should make moves. I think Christian should keep his picks and make his picks because I think some of his younger players are still unknown and he's still accumulating around those guys. I think.
Oh,
right. I think Christian likes to make picks. I think him and Kevin Breen are, aren't they? And maybe Ennis, because Ennis never has picks, but I feel like those 3 are always the ones making picks into free agent rounds deep into the night.
It is basically those 4 in the first round. But I want to know these 4 picks, Steve. You have a very similar take on the draft that I do. It's kind of I don't know. We kind of both devalue it, I think, a little bit, but we also but I know that you have an eye on the future a lot. Is there anybody that is worth drafting in this next class or anybody that you see in those top 4 picks that would be valued?
So last year when I was tanking,
Here we
not
go
to bring
again.
that back up.
Karma.
I had said this before, that the 23 draft was a loaded class. And I still think that way. Bijan Robinson from Texas is a
He
stud.
seems to be a stud.
Jameer Gibbs, running back from Alabama, already has like Kamara comparisons with him. TCU has 2 or 3 studs that are coming out. Their wide receiver, Quentin Johnson, kid is ridiculous. He's
Next
awesome.
Jalen Rager. Next Jalen Rager, I heard.
Maybe even better than him. I really like the running back. Well, I liked Booty from LSU until the story came out this past week about why he actually declared for the draft.
Why?
You guys,
I missed it. Why?
The sex party at the SEC championship game.
Oh,
He was involved in with a couple of other coaches.
wow. Google that one.
So
Coaches?
he was coming back. Yeah. So the couple coaches got fired. So this came out earlier this week.
Way to go, Brian Kelly.
I personally like Zach Evans.
Brian Kelly. Zach.
No, it wasn't Brian Kelly. I like Zach Evans, running back from TCU too. I think there are a lot of good. Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver from Ohio State. That kid's a stud too.
Is he out this year?
I don't think he's draft eligible. I think he's a sophomore.
Thought he declared.
I don't think
He
he
was
is.
a junior and declared.
Oh, then I guess he's eligible. I didn't think he
Dude,
was.
he is
Right.
a stud.
Mike,
Yeah.
I have a question then. If you think he's such a stud, do you
Yeah.
think that if Darian takes one of these guys, would it put him over the top as a playoff team? This was somebody that questioned your manhood and called your season a what was it?
Christian's a joke, dude. He didn't even play a quarterback. So everything he says is just for attention. Total joke.
One of these
fault.
picks help him get in the playoffs, or is this year was just a fluke?
What's Darcy?
I had the wrong Ohio State receiver. That's my fault.
Marvin's a
thinking of-
sophomore.
I can't
Yeah,
trust
yeah.
anything you
I
said.
was thinking
Pete,
of Smith. My fault.
I can't trust anything you say anymore.
He sat out. He got hurt this year and sat out the games too. He's still projected first round pick.
Steve, take the next
Jackson,
15 minutes
Smith.
off and
Yeah,
regroup.
he's good.
Najigba something. How about
Jake
this?
was- God bless you.
Thank you.
I looked up Marvin Harrison really quick, Steve, because I thought I was correct on this. His pro comparison right now is Kenny Galladay.
Why isn't his pro comparison Marvin Harrison?
I know, isn't that crazy? I do like it when players
He's bigger
name-
than his dad.
I love it when players name their kids their name junior. It is so helpful. It really makes you.
Dante Samuel.
How about when they get to the league, they end up adding like the third, the fourth, the junior on their name that they never had up until that point. Like they change their name to do it.
My
Yeah.
favorite
that?
thing is when there's a senior. I
Yeah.
love when they have become like Steve Smith Senior. I only wanted to own seniors. I love Steve Smith Senior. So
He did that when he moved
to get
when he
back-
came to Baltimore. Which
to
I think
Baltimore. I loved it. I loved it. So to get back to your question, I'm over the Darian thing. It's a stupid shtick. No one thinks it's funny. He didn't even play a starting quarterback, so it's like, fine, move on. Blah 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 blah. I do think his team is going to be right there next year. I don't know. I don't know if you can definitively say one of these or two of these potential guys will move him over the edge, because it really depends on where they go, where they fit. Do they come in and become a dominant ball carrying back if he goes in that direction? Do they go to an offense that is viable? And those are the questions you can't answer. I think without a doubt, there are going to be two guys who will at least allow him to be in contention in the second half of the season. And you look at his roster, he's got 8 or 9 guys who are legit keepers to back that up. So if you look at it and say you've got 8 or 9 legit keepers, a couple wild cards that he has on there, having Hurts is only going to help. And so there's a ton of questions on a few of his players as to who shakes out where they end up. But I think you have to be, if you're Darian, like, as we have said, this was probably his transition season. He had a chance the last week of the season, if he showed up against Breen and beat him, that he could have made the playoffs a year ahead of schedule. He didn't. I think for his sake, c'est la vie. Good season nonetheless, and he's going to be in contention next year.
Yeah, I definitely think he's a year ahead of schedule, but he was one piece away from really making a run at it. So it's interesting. Casey,
He was one game. I will say, he in the middle of the season, I don't think he thought he was making the playoffs, because we were texting about him selling assets, and he got a little hot at the right time, but it was a little late because he had a couple pretty bad weeks. So
he sold Garrett, or did he get Garrett Wilson? He got Garrett Wilson. What did he do in that trade with CJ?
I don't know. He's still the thing. I do like a few of his keepers. There's a couple guys on the back end of the bench that you look at and you say, what is Sutton going to do if he's a keeper? Who is the quarterback in Tennessee? What happens with the Jets? Is Rachaad White, if Brady's gone? So there's a number of question marks at the back end of his keepers, but I do still think he has some relevant keepers who will keep him at least in the mix as those top picks turn into something that will be an asset that will deliver and play on the back end of the season. So I would say he should feel good about it. And if I'm Darian, I hold the picks. If I'm Lloyd, I probably hold the picks. I think both of these guys are in a position where they're not one or two pieces away. They should build the foundation. So I agree with Casey.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, a reminder that the first, second, and third priority in the lottery has won the lottery 3 out of the 7 times. So those managers right now are Casey, Larkin, and Spates. The other person to win the lottery was the 5th priority. That was DiVitto in 2017. So I have no idea how he pulled that one out. But if it makes anyone feel better, the year that Andy won the first priority, he drafted Leonard Fournette in the first round. Other running backs taken that year were Dalvin Cook, Christian McCaffrey, Joe Mixon, Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, and Kareem Hunt. Leonard Fournette went first overall that year.
That's hard, though. That's hard on Andy because Fournette, like they talked about, he was
pick.
like the original guy that should have got paid in college because of his health risks or how he was carrying the ball. Like he was an NLI target well before his time. That's not fair.
Speaking of it being hard on Andy,
ridiculous.
Speaking of it being hard on Andy, Casey, you and I were the only two on this podcast that made a pick in that round. Do you remember your reasoning behind passing on Alvin Kamara and Derrick Henry to take the unretired Marshawn Lynch?
Beast mode. I think I was in win now mode, Pete.
Case, you're always in win now mode. Baby.
Just gonna say that.
Kamara,
Guys, I win despite my draft strategy. How about that?
Kamara, Derrick Henry, or Marshawn Lynch coming out of retirement.
That was when he was with Raiders.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
I
retired from Seattle.
I thought he was going to be a beast.
All right, so lighter stuff out of the way. So what do? Let's talk about a championship round. As of what time is it now? 9:41 Tuesday night. Yahoo has alerted us that the game is canceled. We're done. It's dismissed, or what is it? What did they say? What was the term they just sent?
They're finalizing it for now, and if the game is played, they will make basically retroactive adjustments.
Okay. So I had a conversation with Steve and Andy that was very cordial. And we talked about.
Was it a group text?
Yeah, it was just the 3 of us. It was very nice. The triple Ds, as we called it back in the day. I think in Larry Spiker's class, maybe.
Spiker.
Goulash.
It was great. We kind of talked about a bunch of options. Andy threw out that he wanted free entry into next year's league, which made absolutely no sense. No idea. So my options that we talked about were
He can do those boom bonuses alone.
I have no idea what. Yeah, Andy wins. We have a 2-week championship with like the totals. We just build on the totals. We talked about maybe Andy winning a portion of the jackpot and maybe playing week 13 or week 18 for the remaining part of it. One thing I thought would be interesting is if when the game kicked off, the percentages were 89-11.
I looked.
It'd be pretty funny if we did an 89-11 split.
So Pete,
what's an open floor? I don't know what to do.
We don't have a constitution. We probably need a constitution. What's the rule? Like, how do we come to a league agreement? Do you think it's just the 2 guys in the Super Bowl have to say this is what we agree with? Like, league speak up if you have a question, or what's the precedent here?
I think it's between the 2 guys because truthfully, I don't really care what the league talks about when you're having a game. It's between the 2 people that are playing for it.
Did the 2 of them come to an agreement, or is it still ideas in the air?
Steve, you can comment if you want.
I mean, Andy and I have been talking on the side. There isn't really like an agreement, but we've been cordially discussing what we would or wouldn't do. This is what I've said all along. Andy's #1 seed, highest point total, and I don't think it's fair to him if there's any form of a split. He's up by 50 points. Was there an outside shot that I could make a comeback here? Maybe. I believe there's one person on this pod that had a quote. Pete, could you pull that up? What was that quote again?
What? It's not over. Pete Luca.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm.
It's up.
We had this conversation with Pete over the text. Like, I'm not in this to screw anybody. It was a good run, but We'll make a decision at the end here, but I don't think it's fair to Andy to have a 2-week championship. I think that's ridiculous. I just don't think it's fair to him, and dividing the money like he's got a 50-point lead. It's not. I don't think it's fair. That's where I'm at right now.
Honestly, as a commissioner, I said this to Steve privately, that is a very high road, and honestly, makes my life a lot easier. Mike, before you spout off, let's let Brian Casey get a word in. Jeez.
I was just going to say,
no, don't make me
very
mean.
admirable, Steve. I wasn't going to spout off.
No, I was actually curious if these talks between Andy and Steve are going to go as long as most of DeVito's trade talks. Like, we're not going to get this thing solved for weeks.
Same length that you've got for our championship streak, buddy.
Oh, good one.
Oh.
Second is I admire Steve taking the high road. I wonder if he's playing that angle where if I'm super nice, then Andy will come back and offer me a little something so he gets something on the side. So maybe not a wholehearted.
Using very highly of me, huh?
Not a wholehearted gesture. I think one of the staples of our league. If I had a vote in this, which I'm all for if they just figure out on their own too. But if I had a vote on this, one of the things about this league that I love the most relative to some other leagues that I've been in is that we are a winner take all league. I love that part of it. Every other part of it's like, I do. I think it's great. I think it's awesome. I think it's been a staple.
We'll never get that past
since the beginning. I think it's fantastic. I like how we've done some of the breakdowns to prevent tanking with weekly bonuses and all that type of stuff to keep people in it. But I think the championship winner take all and the loser of the championship, you're just a loser. I've been there. It sucks.
Once.
I think that, once. I've lost 9 times in the playoffs, Pete.
8, yeah. Nine in the first round, yeah.
9 in the first round. So, it's I think that's one of the best things about our league. So if we found a way between the managers to make this either count or, winner takes the money, I'm good with that.
All right. Well, that's good. Steve, I have a question. Did Andy work in a no trade stipulation into your settlement or no? Like no more
There's no negotiations for the first 4 weeks of the season.
I can see Andy making like, we'll do this, but on one stipulation.
Who is this guy? Should we send him a card? Nah, he's in 10th place. Don't worry about him.
You'll be like, Andy, I will gladly concede, but we have to at least complete 2 deals.
So
Case, I'm really offended by those comments.
It's a shtick, Steve. Don't listen. So I agree with both, Steve. If it were up to me, I kind of like the winner take all aspect of it. The only thing I don't know if I like in this scenario is Steve didn't have a chance, but he still did have a chance. And so if I were in this, I think it's one of 2 options. I think it's either, and again, I think these two could sort it out. If DeVitto wants to take the money, fine. I don't care.
Okay, one thing I want to talk about. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
Can I say my 2 options?
Yeah, go ahead.
I have one kind of fun idea. One fun idea that we can talk around if they want to think about it. I think the simplest way is DeVitto wins, but DeVitto as concession, because his guys didn't play his big stack, gets his entry fee back. So DeVito's still the big winner. Because there was some stipulation where it didn't happen, I think kick DeVitto. That's how I would think about it. I think it's a good concession, middle ground. Andy wins the league. Andy gets a tournament, no asterisk. It's in the record books for the record books, but Steve, because he didn't really get a fair shot with his roster, that's option 1. I think option number 2, I don't know how you do this, but rather than play an entire week 18, you do like a super team. Each guy picks 3 players. I don't know how you factor it.
Okay, yeah.
In
your fantasy
gimmicky. No, I do think that if you win,
Steve has to lose because his guys didn't
if
play. I
you
don't know
win
if that's
into week 18,
let's bring in a unicorn. Who cares? How we
yeah, if you did, I'm with Pete. If you go week 18, you basically do cumulative 2-week scoring where DeVitto has the advantage that he earned in week 17, and then you add in the week 18 scores to it. So he still keeps his advantage.
Yeah,
Steve has a higher
didn't have his stack.
Steve has a higher likelihood of coming back in that case.
Okay,
right, and
that's what I want to know.
And that's why I don't think that's fair to Andy.
This is the question that I want to know. If the game, Burrow had been playing well, T. Higgins had been doing well. If the game continues, do you think Steve had an actual chance of winning the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Mike, you think he was a chance of coming back?
I did.
What about you, Case?
I picked Andy to win. I was on Andy.
So, but the way the game was going down, did you see on Monday night before the whole incident with the Hamlin? Did it? No, you didn't think he was coming back.
I think it was too much.
Steve,
I think it's too much.
Steve, did you think there was hope or no?
Slim. but I thought there
Slim,
was
but it
hope.
was
Yeah, I
there.
thought there was a chance. Dude, Burrow
Yeah.
I
marched
mean,
down the field.
listen, the first two drives, he's at 50 yards and a touchdown already.
Yeah.
Right. He was doing well. Like it was gonna happen.
And we talked about this pre-pod, the way that they were completely locking down Chase. They were opening up the field to the
Yeah, they
rest of the
were.
receivers.
So
Is this the weirdest ending to a Milford Super Bowl that you've ever seen? Casey, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I got to do some quick math. I need my calculator on my phone.
Oh, okay. Is this the weirdest ending to a Milford Super Bowl? I don't think we've had a weirder one. Maybe the 1-point one with DeVito. Quick question was, will this go?
I like to bring that up. Steve has been involved in both Super Bowls, and I have an asterisk on them. Steve, can you speak to that?
Oh,
Mr.
there's no
Rhodes?
asterisk on this one yet, but another good try.
That was going to be my last question. Is DeVito had a 50-point win, which was above average, probably a what do they call those blowout level margin there. He was the highest scoring team by far with the best record and held the edge in the Super Bowl. Is this an asterisk Super Bowl, or did he earn this one?
He earned it.
I have some math for you.
He
Right.
earned it.
So
Hold
what
on,
I
please.
did was I took the game, I divided it by the amount of time that was played, right, and then multiplied that by Burrow and Higgins' point total within that time. So if they played on that pace, all right, Steve would have got 49 points.
Okay.
So he would have lost.
All
Is
right.
that on the projections that Yahoo gives?
Yes, that's based off of the projections, right? So
I guess-
that's if they scored the same amount of points. in
The
first-
projections at 3:00 had me winning 65% of the time. So that
I guess
don't go off.
that my point is aside from
did
the
the math.
projections, like the projections are the projections until they change because the team is getting hot and doing well. That's what I'm trying to say. But anyway, will this go down as an asterisk one for DeVito, or did he earn it? Kaleli, go ahead.
It's not an asterisk,
Earned it.
Absolutely earned it, right?
Earned
Yeah.
it. No asterisk.
without a doubt.
Case, you've been very quiet. Did I hear you agree or no?
Yeah, no, DeVito dominated this entire year. So
So
if this was reversed, say this was the opposite, that this happened to DeVito, then like if I'm DeVito, I'm like, oh man, like I was the best team all year, and then this happened, like maybe an asterisk on that one. But given that he was the best team.
Why would it be an asterisk though? I don't understand. If you're up by
Yeah, I don't get
50
it either. It
points.
doesn't make sense.
Well, I'm just saying that because he was the best team all year, right? Like, this happened to me on the last day, and I get like, I don't know how it would have played out.
so what?
Whereas
What he's trying to
you
say
So
were
is
does that mean that the
You were
Giants?
the
So does
lower
that mean that
seed. You were the
but-
lower seed.
he's up by 50 points?
no.
He's not up by five.
Hold on. What he's saying is roles are reversed and Andy gets upset here, and he's dominated
Correct.
all year. Do we give the asterisk to Steve on this one because the week wasn't
No.
No.
That was my point. I didn't say you give it to him. I said
No.
be more of an argument for it.
Yeah,
No.
I see. what you're
Thank you,
saying.
Pete. Thank you, Pete. Seriously, what's
No.
going on with this?
I don't think I would. I think that at that point, anybody that wins at that point, regardless of the last game, it was a long shot for Steve to win. I think he's doing a very gentleman-like thing and having discussions with Andy, but that was a very long shot to win. We
Maybe Andy will sponsor the food at next year's draft at DeVito's pool.
I mean, I have that extra money from complaining from the guy. We could always put that forward.
How much do we make back on that?
250.
Was it worth it?
Yes. I mean, my life is in danger, but so this is it. Congratulations to the two-time champion, Andy DeVito, your 2022 fantasy Entering Milford League champion.
Do you
whatever
think
you wanna call it.
Do you think the league is going to call it an asterisk?
I don't really care what they call it. It's really between Steve and Andy. And
No, I'm aware. I also don't care what they say.
Yeah.
But I'm asking you, do you think the league is going to call it an asterisk?
probably because they're a bunch of jerks, as Pat DeLuca would say. God, he's a bunch of jerks.
Hey, Steve, you won the pick 'em.
Hey, congratulations.
Hey, Mike, you didn't hit a boom all year. Nice job.
Saving it for next year, Case.
I thought Mike took himself for the boom.
No,
No.
should have. I think I took
No,
you.
I think Case,
He took-
Mike, I
took
think
DeVito.
Case wrote that
Took
down
DeVito.
wrong.
I took
No,
you.
he took you.
Next year, we're gonna do a side bet on the picks.
No.
I want to do a funny side bet, like loser has to shave their head or shave eyebrows or something.
Oh, I mean, I shaved my
I'll
head
shave
in
my
the
head.
summer, so I'll do that.
Okay.
I shaved my head. I'm not shaving my eyebrows.
If Casey wins, if Casey loses, he doesn't have to shave his head.
Casey has to grow his hair out for 6 months.
I'll be wearing a hat all the time. The flow will come back.
Be the George Costanza.
You
of
had
the
a
league.
flow before? You got to send me a picture. You must have had a flow at some
Yeah,
point.
I'll see.
Yeah,
Yeah, in,
baseball
in college, bro. Yeah, had the hair
we
flow
all-
going and everything. Yeah, it's a
Didn't
long
we
time
all?
ago.
Didn't
Yeah,
we
a long
all?
time ago now.
All right, this is the season finale. Anything
Weird
else?
way to end the season. Weird
Huh?
way to end the season.
I know.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like the end. I will say that. It doesn't feel like the end because of it.
We started on episode 35. So we got 42 episodes in this season compared to 35 last year. So more episodes than last year. And our ratings were up compared to last year, believe it or not. So
I get it. Steve and I were more regular this year.
however, the average listen time is 20 minutes. People only listen for 20 minutes. So
That's why I
Yeah,
like to
I'm
put.
gonna give
That's
one
why
word
I.
answer.
That's why when I was hosting, I used to like to put the game of the weeks early because I knew they would tune out. But that's okay.
Or we got to cut Mike's monologues.
our ratings went up significantly during 40 plus hoop season. It went exceptionally well.
It's not 40 plus, it's just the B league.
Hold on. And I'm not going to say this to make Mike feel
More
terrible. about
calculations.
himself. All right, but I have something. I took a screenshot of it. All right, there was one manager that I was in talks with earlier that said this. Hey, hot take, but the pod is better without Kaleli on it.
Oh,
Great. Enjoy it. Enjoy the pod next year, guys. I don't need to do it.
Coupe d'etat, that son of a B.
I remember one of the pods. You're like, I'm gonna get out of
Isn't
here.
it a coup d'etat?
Go ahead. You go, no.
That's what he wrote. Coupe d'etat.
No, a coup d'etat, not a coup d'etat.
No,
Dude,
I
I'm
like
telling
the-
you what hit. I'm reading it, Steve. I'm not saying it. I'm reading it.
Well, it's been a good ride, guys. Signing
Yeah.
off.
Just I'm reading what it says.
I feel like we should say more.
No, this is good. It's good. Short and sweet. Are we under 20 minutes? Everyone will listen.
Yeah. All right. Well, reminder.
Congrats, Ange.
Yeah.
Congrats, Ange. Yeah, good job.
DiVitto. I guess.
Hey, is it fair to say that Breeny and I traded Andy this championship?
I don't know.
No.
I mean,
Derrick Henry and Patrick Mahomes?
You know, I don't know about you guys, but as this Super Bowl was going on, at the end of that 49ers game, when Ayuk scored 20 points in the fourth quarter, before that, I thought I had
Me
a
too.
very good shot.
Me too.
That actually is a great take. Ayuk and McKinnon carrying DeVito down the stretch.
that's what we said he needed to do to win. He needed to get the
He
added
deepened it
value.
up.
And McKinnon scored like 8 touchdowns in 5 weeks. Like the guy was who
Well, how
won a
about-
Super Bowl for.
And
This
McKinnon
doesn't
was
give
a
4
waiver
touches, 2
wire
touchdowns.
pickup.
Yeah, I mean it was an
McKinnon was a
absolute.
waiver wire pickup. Andy
Is
went
there
to the
a-
waiver wire.
Is there a player that had a bigger impact for DeVito's team than McKinnon?
No.
No. He was number
Tyler
one fantasy back
Tyler
for like 3
Algier.
weeks there.
You knew what? Yeah, and what happened with Algier? He didn't have a great game, huh? Everyone was on that. bus.
No, he went 83 in a touch. He scored 18 points, 19 points.
Really is a sad situation with what happened in Buffalo. And obviously all thoughts towards the guy's health, but a really phenomenal season for Andy. An odd way to end it, and I guess we'll regroup next year. Weird way to end. Anything else? All right. Well, until next time. Season 3, February 7th.
Congrats, Andy.
Congrats, Andy.
Congrats, Andy. Prayers for DeMar.